So we'll go ahead and start. If you could introduce with your name.
Hi, I'm Jon Billups.
And how long have you lived in the Burlington area?
I've lived in Burlington. I was born here, we moved away, and I came back in 1976. So you'd have to do the math on that. I was born in 1962, so the majority of my life has been in Burlington.
And what do you love most about our community?
You know, what I love most about the community is our people. I've always thought we are blessed with volunteers and leaders in our area. I had parents that were very actively engaged in not only their family business, which I was proud to be a part of, but also the volunteer spirit. My dad specifically always encouraged Burlington to be its best it could be, and worked on that behalf. So
the main focus of this interview is what connects us. So what does that phrase mean to you in regards to our community or anything in the world, really? What connects us?
I think what connects Burlington specifically to Burlingtonians, so to speak, is just our love for this area. You know, there's always, every city has warts. You know, but every city has a lot of beautiful aspects to it. I think Burlington's very inclusive. I think Burlington's progressive in our thoughts as far as how do we look at things and move forward, and I'm proud to be a part of that. To me, that's the biggest thing. I've always felt connected to Burlington. Living here, since I got out of high school in 1980, started really paying attention to city stuff in volunteering from like 1980, really in earnest from 1980 on. So for different groups, and I've always just wanted to be a part of what Burlington is. So,
how do you experience connection in your daily life?
Well, as mayor, I get a lot of connection on social media. One of the reasons I ran for a city council was to try to improve communications between city government and its citizens. I have been guilty of making assumptions about the city government or staff even. And quickly found out once I was elected that those assumptions were wildly off base. We have outstanding people in our city service, city government, and it's great to see those leaders develop in the different departments. So that was one of my ways to try to connect, and because I'm somewhat prolific on Facebook, I try to educate and answer when I see misconceptions. Much to my wife's chagrin, my phone number is all over the internet, and everybody can get a hold of me. In fact, I encourage it, and my email's out there too. So I really encourage citizen involvement, and one of the things I'm really working on now is trying to encourage our youth. Just met with a bunch of Empower U students that are going to be college bound, and I'm trying to encourage them to consider not only now being engaged, but as they go to school and go on a secondary education, to go out, experience the world, but then don't forget to come back to Burlington, because we got a lot of great things here.
Can you share a specific moment when you felt deeply connected to someone or something?
There's a lot there, Stephanie. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I can nail it down to any one thing. I always felt a real connection to Burlington via Steamboat Days, which used to be everybody's homecoming. We have homecoming in school, but Steamboat Days was everybody's connection. You would see people you hadn't seen for years or decades there at Steamboat Days. So that's one. I was quite proud of the work my father did on the Quiet Zone, and every time I see new development for downtown living go up or be refurbished, or some of the revitalization of downtown that our Tiger Grant brought, I think that is a great thing. And then even now, if you look at other areas of our community. City Center, which is the old Fairway Center for you older folks like me. You look at how revitalized that area is, and now the City Crossing, which is the old Kmart Plaza. Same thing. We're seeing growth there, and we're seeing a lot of great things going on in Burlington. So every time I see that progress, and every time I engage with a citizen, I feel connected.
What role do diversity and inclusion play in fostering those connections?
Well, they play every role, right? Because diversity and inclusion, it goes to everything from, who we are to what we think. I always say that I don't even agree with myself all the time. So if we're not, we need that diversity and inclusion to kind of flavor our life, and also to educate ourselves on other things that people are going through. So I think it's one of the most crucial aspects.
How do you see our community as a place where people come together?
I think it's outstanding. You look at all the activities the library puts on, the Jurassic Park Day. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't paying attention until I drove by it, and I saw thousands of kids there. And alluded to Steamboat Days and the other events we have in the community. You see some of the causes and fundraising going on, and people have always supported it. I think Burlington, really for the most part, is blessed with all the different things we have to do, and that includes that encourages that inclusion and diversity as far as different people showing up to support different events. So.
Is there a story, memory, or personal experience that illustrates what connection means to you?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Again, there's so many of them. I don't know if I could single one out. There are people from my youth when I first started working for my family at the age of 13 that I still connect with. And to be honest with you, I thrived under the way my parents raised me. From the age of 13, they kind of treated me like an adult, and I was taught how to earn respect and give respect. And so every time one of those folks from my past, or even now, when we can have a respectful dialogue about something maybe we disagree on, but we still agree to, we still admire each other or like each other afterwards. I mean, that's what made America great. America wasn't built off this total both end spectrums that we're kind of going through now politically. It was based off the willingness and ability to compromise. No one's going to agree with you 100% of the time, but if you can build a consensus, and that's what our job is on City Hall, is to build a consensus on the best path going forward. I can tell you that the best thing, and for me, being involved in the city for the period in time that I have, and the city being community events, my personal life, business life, and now in public service, is that for the first time in like the last decade or so, everybody, it appears to agree on what direction north is, right? We might still have different ideas on how to get there, but we all kind of agree on the general direction. At least that's what I sense. That here's where we're pointed, and here's where we'd like to be. Now we can have some discussions on how do we get there. I would love to see Burlington be back to the point where neighbors looked out for neighbors, and I think we're getting closer to that than we've been in quite a while.
And for my final question, can you share any final thoughts on what connects us as individuals and as a community?
Well, places like we're here in the library, and places like the library, it offers so many services for our citizens to partake in for free. We have events down on the riverfront. We have events throughout town that are available for free, that people can participate in and see friends and neighbors. And so I think you can be as connected in Burlington as you choose to be. And that is really the spirit of community. So, you know, when I was growing up in the, especially my young adult life in the 80s, the old phrase was, well, there's nothing to do in Burlington. Well, I'm telling you what, if you don't think there's anything to do in Burlington, you're not paying attention, because there's all kinds of activities right now. It's so much better than it was than when I was growing up, as far as just the resurgence, revitalization. I believe we'll still have some negative people, but the same token, I think people really value living here, and I think people value all the amenities that we have. We hear it from our visitors all the time. We'll hear from our visitors to our community will say, how do you have this? Well, how do you have that? How do you have this? Well, because we're still a small community. I also see a lot of progress in Burlington, West Burlington, talking about how can we best serve our citizens. You know, we're looking at some service sharing right now, and we're talking to the county about that. And I think when we all pull and unite, we can really be a strong community.
Thank you for answering all of my questions.
Okay, great. Thanks.